Hi, my name is Maria Martinez, and I want to teach you about a great new software program called Open Broadcaster Software, or OBS. It is a screen capture software with voice recording capabilities. Now, there are other programs like this on the market, but there are definite advantages to this particular program. First of all, it is open source, which means that it is 100% free. There are no ads or spyware attached to it either, which means that you're not going to get any nasty, sneaky viruses on your computer. Now, don't let the free title fool you. There's a lot of trial software out there, and it says that it's free, but of course there are limitations that are put on it because it is free in its trial. Open Broadcaster software does not have that problem. In fact, here are some of the benefits of using Open Broadcaster software. First of all, there are no watermarks, so you're not going to have any watermarks that are going to cover up any parts of your video. Also, there are no time limits. Your videos can be as long as they need to be, so you don't have to worry about stopping after 15 minutes or anything like that. There are no limits to the amount of videos that you can make. So you can make videos for the entire semester or for the entire year without having to worry about paying an extra fee. There are customizable settings. So depending on what kind of computer you have, how new or old your system is, you can customize the settings to best fit you. The OBS system is also PC and Mac friendly. Now, this is really important because there are a lot of programs out there that are proprietary, and they don't necessarily always play well with PC and Mac. So this is something that is quite different. And then finally, the saving option is very, very easy to use. Once we actually make the recording and we save it, it's very easy to locate in order to upload. And I'm going to show you all of that as we go through this training. So let's go ahead and get started with this really great program. So the very first thing we need to do is, of course, we need to access the program. We need to download it. So now, of course, I have it downloaded because I am using it to record, but let me go ahead and show you how to access this. Now, while you're watching this video, you can actually copy everything that I'm doing. So let's go ahead and minimize this. Now, when I minimize my recording, it does not stop the recording. It's going to go ahead and keep on going in the background. So I have my Google window open. I'm going to type in Open Broadcaster Software, and you can see that it goes ahead and pulls it up. It's the first one on the Google search, and so I'm going to go ahead and open this. Now, the program or the software has been around for a while. In fact, it's very, very popular amongst gamers because of how customizable it is. And because it has been around for a really long time, even though it's free, you can see that there's already an established forum, you can see that there's a community chat, and there's even a help button if you have any questions about any of the settings and maybe you need a little extra help. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go to the download button. And so when I go to the download button, what it does is it scans my system. You can see it says it looks like you're using Windows. We've automatically selected that as your operating system for you, and it's going to go ahead and pick the download that's best for my particular system. Now, there's two download programs that you can use. I'm going to go ahead and just get the regular one, and so I click on Download OBS, and you can see that the installer opens up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Save. And so here the installer is putting itself on my computer, and it's done, which tells you that OBS is not a large program. It's not a large file, so it's not going to take up a lot of memory on your computer. So the executable file has installed itself on my computer. I'm going to go ahead and click it, and you can see that my setup wizard opens up. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Now normally you would not get this box. Now you can see that it says Open Broadcaster Software is already running. Well, I already have it set up on my computer, so it's not going to let me install it twice. For you, what it would do is it would hit next. It would prompt you to set it up on your computer, ask if it has your permission, and then it would install it, which would only take about maybe 30 seconds. Once you have installed it on your computer, it's going to go ahead and put an icon on your taskbar, and it's going to go ahead and put an icon on your desktop, and the icon's going to look like this. This is OBS's official logo. So now that we have it installed, now we're ready to get started. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Open Broadcast Software. So when I open it up for the first time, it's not going to look like this. Now mine has been set up so that I can, of course, record this lesson. Yours is going to look completely different. It's going to be blank. You're not going to have any of these things on here. And so what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to get it set up to record, and it's very easy. So the first thing I need to do is I need to pick a scene. I need to establish that I'm about ready to record. So what I'll do is I'm going to right click and I'm just going to add scene. So when I do that, now I apologize, it is going to go black temporarily. So I'm going to hit add scene. It's going to ask me what I want to name it. I'm just going to leave it scene 2 and I'm going to hit OK. Now on your end, you'll notice that the screen has turned black. The reason why is because I have not actually set a source to record. So let me go ahead and go back to our regular scene. And so in order to add a source, what I would need to do is I would have scene 2 selected and highlighted, and I would go here to sources. I would right click again, and you can see that it's going to give me a selection of things that I can use to record from. Now I can record from my window, I can do a monitor capture, I can do a video capture device if I wanted to record from my PlayStation or Xbox. What I do is of course monitor capture because I want you to be able to see what's on my monitor. And so you can see that I have already selected that here. So now that I have selected my scene that I'm going to record, now that I have a source to record from, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and adjust my settings the way I want them to be. Now, some of these settings you may like, some of these settings you may not want to mess with. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add some text. I want to have a title or a header to my recording lesson here. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on my monitor capture. I'm going to go ahead and add, and you can see here that it says add text. So I'm going to go ahead and just put OBS training. Oops, I put PBS training. OBS training. And I'm going to hit OK. And so what happens now is that it opens up a text box. And so I get to pick the font just like any other kind of text box. So I'm going to go ahead and do Arial Black because I want my text to look really nice and thick. I want my text to be kind of big. So I want to go ahead and hit 60 font size. I can bold it, italicize it, underline it. I can make the text vertical if I prefer. I can even select the color in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and double click the color. And you can see that I have a whole palette of colors that I can pick from. Now I'm okay with white, so I'm just going to leave it as is and I'm going to hit OK. I can also select the background color for my text and my text only. It won't change any other background. And I'm okay with black. Now here's the deal though. You'll see that the opacity is set to 0. So that means that even though my background color is set to black, it actually won't show up because it's set to 0. Well, I want to go ahead and change that. I'm going to change that to 50, and I'm going to show you why. So I'm going to change that, and I'm going to go ahead and enter my text. So I'm going to put OBS training package. And I'm going to hit OK. Now what you can see here is at the top, here is my text, and you can see the slightly black background. You can see that it's only at 50% opacity. It's not a full solid black. Now I have a problem. This is covering my URL bar, and if I'm needing this to show you something, to train you, well, that's not going to be very useful to you to have it blocked. So I need to move that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the position because I want to change the positioning of my text, and I actually want to move this to the bottom. But again, you can see it has now blocked some of my icons here at the bottom. So again, that's not going to work for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reposition this again, and I'm going to move this to the right edge. And so now you can see that the text is over here on the right edge, and I'm okay with that because I know that there's nothing here that you will need to use, and I'm okay with it being here at the bottom. And it'll be here throughout the duration of the video training. So now I have my text set up. So the next thing that I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you this very, very handy button, which is the preview button. Now mine is grayed out, and the reason it's grayed out is because I am, of course, currently recording. The preview button is so that you can preview what your recording will look like in real time. And so what you see on here is exactly what your recording will look like when you actually hit start record. Now, the great thing about the preview button is that you can actually adjust your settings while the preview button is pressed. And this is really great so that you don't have to preview, stop, adjust settings, preview, stop, adjust settings, preview, stop, adjust settings, and so forth. You can actually adjust your settings and see the changes in real time on the preview screen. So I'm going to go ahead and do some adjustments on my settings so that you can see how those work. So I hit the settings button. And do not let this intimidate you. There's a lot of different things here on the side, and you will not end up using 90% of them. I'm going to show you the ones that are actually going to be really important to you. So the first one is going to be video. And the reason why video will be important to you is because this is where you set your resolution if you want to customize your resolution. Now, you may not. You may want to just keep it as it is, and the default is fine. I have a little bit of a higher quality monitor, and so the default unfortunately does make it a little bit blurry. And so the default is actually 1080 by 720. And that's about DVD quality. Now my monitor is a little bit higher, so I'm going to set the resolution, or as you can see, my resolution has been set a little bit higher so that when I transfer my video over, it's a little easier to see. And so this is where you can customize your resolution. So that's already been done. The next button that's going to be very useful to you is going to be the audio button. Now you actually won't mess with any part of this, especially if it's already been set, but I do want to show it to you because there is a button that can be very useful, and that's this microphone one. Now it will automatically default to whatever you have set up as your microphone. OBS is very good about that. But there was a time when my recording wasn't working when I was trying to record a video. It was very frustrating. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. And so I went to the audio button. And what I noticed is that my webcam, which is what I use for my microphone, was not on here. It wasn't listed. Well, I have cats. And so what they had done is they had gotten behind my computer and they had knocked out the wire for the webcam. So of course it wasn't detecting it. So that was really useful for me to come up here and I could see that. I could troubleshoot it. I plugged it back in, and as soon as I did, OBS was able to detect my webcam and I was able to make the selection for my microphone. So if it does not pick up what you use for your microphone, you can go here and you can you can select it yourself. Now, the other button that is very useful is what's called the microphone noise gate. And this one initially used to be very confusing for me, but I'm going to go ahead and very simply describe what's going on here. This is basically the equivalent of cropping a picture, but instead of cropping a picture, you're actually cropping your voice. And you can see here this green button, or this green bar, I'm sorry, is recording, or it's measuring my voice. And now I have kind of a high-pitched voice. I also have the microphone very close to my face so that I can record clearly. And so you can see that at my highest points, it reaches all the way up here. Now you may have a lower voice, and so it may not need to be this high. And you can see that I have another set here called the close threshold. So let me explain what's going on. The open threshold is the limit of my voice. And so since I have a high voice, I have this set to reach the highest limit of my voice. Now what will happen though is if this was set lower, but my voice goes all the way up to here, when I finally am done recording, the recording will compress my voice down, which means that on your end, it'll sound muffled. It will sound very awkward. And I don't want that. I want it to sound crisp and clear. I want it to sound as natural to my voice as possible. Now, the close threshold is where we close off some of the sound that's being let in. Now, of course, we don't want to close off our voice, obviously, because we want to make sure that we're recording. I'm going to get quiet here for about 5 seconds, and I want you to look at the green bar, though. And what you see is that the green bar was still moving. Well, that's because there's a lot of noise in the background of the house. Now, even though I don't have the TV on, even though I don't have any music on, there's still noise that's going on around the household. The air conditioner is running. My computer is close to a window, so the wind and the trees are rustling outside. And so there's just a little, general noise going on. So I need to make sure that that noise is not getting through so that, again, what you're hearing is my voice. So as you can can see, this is what I mean by the cropping. You can see that at the highest point, it's capturing my voice, and I've set this to reach at about my lowest point when I'm talking. And so everything else is filtered out. And so I hit OK. And so now my voice settings have been set. And that one does take a little bit of finagling and playing around. But once you set it, you never have to set it again. Same thing with the microphone. Same thing with a lot of these settings. So now the other thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and up here, this is a different settings button. You'll notice it doesn't have as many. I want to put always on top. Now, the reason why I want to do this is because if I decide to change screens, you'll notice that my OBS screen is still on the top. Normally, it would end up minimizing, then I have to reopen it and so forth, and I don't want to do that. So now I can minimize it myself if I choose, but it's not going to do it when I change programs, and so that's why I have it setting always on top. Now, finally, what I want to show you as far as settings go is I want to show you how you can add music to the background of your recording. Now, I find music to be very relaxing. You may too. But what I don't want to do is I don't want the music to compete with my voice. And so you'll see, of course, my microphone setting is going on here. This is my microphone button. And so what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to adjust the sound of the music. Now, my hands, what you can't see is my hands are not going to touch my speaker volume. I'm not going to touch them. I'm not going to mess with them because I don't want it to mess up my microphone volume either. Everything's going to be done on OBS. So I'm going to go ahead and put the music on. You have to bear with me. It's going to be a little bit loud initially. So let me go ahead and double click this to play it. And so the music is going to be at full volume on my end and of course full volume on your end. And so what you're hearing right now is the music and my voice kind of competing with one another because the music is a little bit loud and I don't want that. I don't want it to interfere with what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to the speaker volume and I'm going to lower this significantly. I'm going to go ahead and just click all the way down here. You can see it says 10%. And what should have happened on your end is that the sound of the music should be reduced significantly. Now on my end, what I'm hearing is the same volume, but on your end, it has been reduced. And so now it's background noise as opposed to competing with my voice. So now that I have all my settings, I'm ready to, of course, record. You'll notice that here it says stop recording. Well, if I'm ready to record, I would just hit start recording and it would, of course, record. You can see that there's a timer here that shows you how long the recording is going. I am going to minimize this just to kind of show you that it's going to record the different things that I'm doing. So you can see here, I go to the Lone Star window. Maybe I want to show my first-time students how to access their online classes. So I go here to LSE Online and I can show them some of the resources for D2L, which is of course the learning management system, and I can talk them through it. So I'm going to go back to Google here. I'm going to go ahead and open up OBS. You can see here that it has not stopped recording. It's still going. And so now I'm ready to stop recording. I'm ready to upload my video for my students. So what I'm going to do is I would hit stop recording, but I don't want to stop just yet because we're still going. And what I will do is once I stop recording, I want to go directly to my file. And this is where OBS is really great. I click on File and I go to Open Recordings folder. And what it's going to do is it's going to take me directly to the folder that has my recording. So automatically I'm led to where I need to go. I can rename it if I need to, and then upload it to my LMS or wherever it is that I'm going to upload it to. So I hope that you have found this training to be very useful, and I hope that this training and this program serves to be useful to you in your classes in the future. So thank you very much.